Welcome to my 2017 astronomy event calendar. 2017 promises to be a very interesting year, so let's see what's going to happen. Let's start with my favourite subject, the Sun. The Sun is slipping towards solar minimum. As you can see, the sunspot numbers are dropping. But that doesn't mean the Sun is no longer interesting. There's quite a few interesting questions that need to be answered. For example, when will solar minimum be? And how long will it be? The last one was a very long and extended solar minimum, which led to a lot of people to conclude that we're going into a new Maunder minimum. That didn't turn out to be the case, although this was a very weak cycle. When will we see the first signs of cycle 25? And will it be a big cycle, or will it continue the decline of the recent 50 years? Only time will tell, and we'll get the first hints of that during 2017. Every year we get a bunch of meteor showers, and I've listed here the 8 best ones in 2017. We start off in early January with the quadrantids. They're a moderate shower with about 40 meteors per hour, and they originate in the constellation of Bootes. The peak is on January 4th, and we have a crescent moon, so should not affect the shower. Next come the Lyrids on the 16th and 25th of April, peaking on the 23rd of April. They're a lower rate meteor shower with only about 20 per hour. The Delta Aquarids are similar from that point of view. Again, we have just a crescent moon, so it shouldn't be a problem for us. Perseids are usually one of our star meteor showers, but this year the moon is unfavourable, but it tends to contain a lot of very bright meteors, so you still may be in for a treat every now and then. The Orionids in October are again a relatively modest meteor shower, but we have a crescent moon, so they should be plainly visible. In November we have the Leonids. They're a weak shower, but again we have a new moon, so it should not be a big problem. The star this year is the Geminids. That's in early December, peaking on 14th of December, and they have a rate typically of 120 an hour, and so those are probably worth looking out for. And late in the year, peaking on the 22nd of December, we have the Ursids. We have 4 eclipses in 2017. 2 are lunar. One is on the 11th of February and is a penumbral eclipse, and one on the 7th of August, which is a partial eclipse. We also have 2 solar eclipses. One is on the 26th of February and is an annular eclipse, and the one on the 21st of August is a total eclipse of the Sun, which will be visible largely from North America. Let's start with the penumbral lunar eclipse on the 11th of February. Well, what is a penumbral eclipse? This is when the moon passes through the outer part of the Earth's shadow, as shown here on the right. And such eclipses are not very spectacular. They look something like this. You'll see just a slight discoloration or darkening of the moon. This eclipse is going to be visible from a larger portion of the world: North and South America, Europe, Africa and Asia. Basically Australia and Japan are the only 2 major countries that are not going to be seeing this eclipse. Next we have the annular solar eclipse on the 26th of February. This is when the moon passes between the Earth and the Sun, but is sufficiently far away from the Earth, its full shadow, the umbra, doesn't quite reach the Earth. So we see a little ring of the Sun around the moon, like this. Unfortunately, this eclipse is only visible from the southern tip of South America and the southern part of Africa. Next we have the partial lunar eclipse on the 7th of August. This is different from the previous one in that the moon at least partly goes into the Earth's dark shadow, the umbra. So you'll see a part of the moon actually blank out. This eclipse will not be visible from either North or South America, but basically the rest of the world gets to see it. But that lack of seeing that lunar eclipse is more than made up by the fact that North America gets to see its very own total solar eclipse on the 21st of August. Here's the path across North America, starting up in Oregon State and exiting in South Carolina. The peak of the eclipse is near Nashville in Tennessee. Let's take a look at that path a little more closely. Anywhere in the grey area we'll see a total eclipse of the Sun. The dark dot is where the eclipse is at its maximum. Now either side of it you'll see a partial eclipse of the Sun, which in itself will be quite spectacular. I live in Washington DC, and about 85% of the Sun will be blanked out on that day. The real question is will you be able to see it? This is a map of the likely cloud cover for that date across the United States. You can see the best places to see are all the way through the Midwest and in the Northwest. But it will depend on the daily weather, so keep your eye out on the weather. Well, what will this look like? The Sun, as I've said, is in the declining phase of its cycle, so the solar corona will be relatively simple. You'll expect a fairly linear corona either side of the Sun, rather like the picture shown at the bottom here. We also have the planets in the night sky. The best times to see the planets are when they're either at maximum elongation for Mercury and Venus, or when they're in opposition for the other planets in the solar system. Mercury is going to be a morning or an evening star 6 times throughout the year. The best time to see it as an evening star is on the 30th of July. And the best time to see it as a morning star will be on the 19th of January. Venus will be an evening star on the 12th of January and it'll be 47 degrees east of the Sun. In fact, you can see it at the moment. It's the bright star in the western sky after the sunset. On the 3rd of June, it's going to be a bright morning star, and that will be about 46 degrees away from the Sun. Unfortunately, Mars doesn't have an opposition with us in 2017, so the next best opportunity to see Mars at its closest approach is on the 27th of July 2018. Jupiter is in opposition on the 7th of April. It will be directly south at midnight. There is also a spectacular conjunction with Venus on the 13th of November. The two planets will only be 0.3 of a degree apart. That's less than the diameter of the Moon. Saturn is in opposition on the 15th of June. This will be a nice opportunity to see the planet and its rings, because the rings will be at their maximum tilt at this time of year. Uranus is in opposition on the 19th of October. It will be directly south at midnight again, but you need a large telescope to really make out anything of it apart from a little dot. One of the beauties of studying astronomy is you never know what to expect. Perhaps a bright comet will light up our skies in 2017, or a major geomagnetic storm produce aurora where we don't normally see them. We could have a nova or a supernova visible to the naked eye. It's been 400 years since we've had a supernova, and I think we're about due. Anyway, I wish you happy observing for 2017, and I wish you all a happy new year.